Hi everybody, my name is Peter Renton and I am the publisher of Lend Academy, and today we're going to be talking all about Lending Club. I'm going to take you a little behind the scenes here of my Lending Club account, and this is really targeted at new investors or people who are considering opening an account at Lending Club. We're really just going to cover some of the basics of investing and of the Lending Club interface. So let's get started. I have just logged into my Lending Club account here, and you can see I'm greeted with three large numbers: the net annualized return, which is Lending Club's approximation of how much your return is. I found in reality it's reasonably accurate. It can be a little overstated, particularly in the early days of your account. But I know for my account here, it's actually reasonably accurate today. Now, when you first open an account, you won't have a net annualized return. It'll just say new, and you will basically not get one until usually 30 to 45 days after you have invested in notes, in loans. Then payments will start coming back in, and that's when you'll start getting your net annualized return. So don't sweat if you've made a bunch of investments and it's 2 weeks have gone by and it still says nothing. That's totally normal, and it will kick in soon enough. Interest received. I've had this account now for several years. I opened it up in June of 2009. I've received a lot of interest over those almost 4 years now. You can see total payments of almost $27,000, and my account total is just over $29,000. So now, Lending Club provided a lot more detail that you can dig into, and one of the things I like to look at is my notes at a glance, mainly because I want to see what notes have gone current and what notes have gone late. That's probably more what I'm looking at. And you can see here that I've got 4 that have just recently gone late, 15 that are pretty seriously late. Then there's default and charged off, and these are pretty much, once they get down here, it's you've pretty much lost your money most likely. Now, the other thing that they do, if you click on the more details screen, this will take you into a bit more breakdown about your account. This gives you a breakdown by credit grade or by loan grade. Lending Club's loans all go from A through G, with A being the lowest risk and G being the highest risk. And you can see I actually don't invest in A's anymore. I think I still have a very small, I think I might have one account that's still got one payment left, but I'm pretty much done with A's. I'm focused on the E's, F's, and D's, and that's the vast majority of my portfolio. Now, I'm not recommending that for everybody. You've got to decide on what your risk tolerance for risk is, and if you're happy to get some defaults in your account, you're happy to see see some of your principal sometimes go down, then by all means go and follow me. I get defaults on a regular basis, and I know that it's part of the business of investing with borrowers. So as long as I'm getting well compensated for the risk I'm taking, which I feel like I have been getting a higher than 10% return, I'm fine with doing that. So that gives you a weighted average interest rate. Now, that's since from day one, all the loans that I have outstanding, that's my average weighted interest rate. And if you go down here, there's a whole bunch more detail. You find out how much collection fees, how much in service charges that Lending Club has taken, and a bunch of other pieces as well. So that's a little bit more digging into the detail of your account. Now let's go and look at the loans and look at how to invest. So there are 2 ways to do this. You can do it the easy way, or the automated way, well, semi-automated, I guess you'd say, by clicking on this link here. Lending Club will bring up 3 buttons. They'll give you 3 different options, and basically they correspond to option 1 is low risk, option 2 is medium risk, and option 3 is high risk. So you can just click on one of these options and have Lending Club select the notes for you, and then it's kind of like an index fund sort of thing. You'll just get a bunch of different notes, and you can have your entire cash balance invested in 4 clicks in 30 seconds if that's what you want to do. That's actually the way I started investing initially, and I think it's a great way to put your money to work quickly. Now, I think you can do better by choosing some filters and investing wisely, and you can actually, I think you can do better than average by doing that. But again, it's not for everybody. So the way I recommend and what I think is worthwhile for people who want to take a bit more time on it, you click on Browse Notes, and that will bring up all of the notes that are currently available. And you can see there's 1,139 notes available right now. And you can go through and look at each one of those one by one. I highly discourage you from doing that, because that would take forever. What you want to do is you want to filter the loans that are on the platform, by meaning you want to set up some criteria here that will remove the loans that don't meet your criteria. One of my favorite criteria is a thing called inquiries in the last 6 months. Now, what this means is this is basically telling you how many times the borrower has requested credit in the last 6 months. And this could be for a car loan, for a credit card, for a home loan, refinancing, any kind of hard inquiry on their credit report. So I have found in my research that having no inquiries here generates the best return. So if you set this at 0 and update your results, you are going to filter out a bunch of loans on the platform. Look, you've basically taken it down about half. So that's a great way to kind of reduce the number of loans to look to consider. But it's still a lot of loans. So what I recommend people do then is do a few more filters. One of the other most important ones is interest rate. What loan grades do you want to invest in? I choose the D's, E's, F's, and G's. And there aren't many of these, so this is really going to drop down the number dramatically. So when I click update, that's going to just drop it down to 41. So that's from an initial 1,139, I believe it was, down to 41. And that's a much more manageable number. But you can even filter it more. I'd like to also sometimes look at delinquency 0. I don't want anyone who's had a late payment in the last 2 years. I don't want to consider them. So if I update my results with that, I'm down to 34 loans. And this is a very manageable number. You can go and read through all of these, spend a few seconds on each one, and decide whether you want to invest. So let's click on one of these so you can get an idea of what these listings look like. So here is a credit card refinance. It's a pretty typical request for a loan. This is from a borrower in Greensboro, North Carolina. They work for looks like a Honda dealership there. Their gross income is over $10,000 a month. They've got quite a decent income, and their monthly payment for the loan they've requested, and if you look like up here, they've requested a $30,000 loan. Their monthly payment is going to be $779. That seems fairly reasonable. And you can keep going down here and you can look at different things. And I encourage you to do some research on the credit history. You can go and look through the entire history of Lending Club through their downloadable Excel file, or go through tools like nickelsteamroller.com, interestradar.com, peercube.com, or lendstats.com. These are all tools that allow you to look at the history of Lending Club and see what kind of things have produced good returns before. But and that's where you can really work out your own way of filtering. But this is all the credit information here. Now, one last point: if you wanted to, you can open up this in a new tab by clicking on this link here. That opens up in a new tab or a new window. You can do that, and there are questions and answers that you can ask some preset questions of this borrower, and there has been a bunch of people who have asked some of these preset questions, and the borrower has provided a response. So once you have decided that you think that's a good, let's click that on, so to close that up again. If you've decided that's a good loan, you want to invest in all these, you can just put on how much you want to invest in per note, and I recommend $25 unless you're investing a large amount of money, and by large I mean at least $10,000. So you can just click on that button there, and then boom, all these notes, $25. You can click add to order, 3 more clicks, and you've made your first investment. So that's the basics. I hope you found that useful. If you are not a Lending Club subscriber or a Lending Club investor, I should say, then I highly encourage you to open up an account. There will be a link after this video that will take you to that. And if you have any questions, you can always go to my blog and click on the Contact Me button, and I will be happy to answer your questions. So thank you very much for your time.